Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, for one final time here this season, and welcome to Nep's Night in America and even parts of Canada. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the production trailer for the Adams Photography 100, the championship race here in the NEP series presented by YRD, U-House Racing Designs. And as always on Thursday night, not alone down here in the production truck, Ron, Aaron Creed joining me for the final time this season. Kind of a bittersweet ending, the iRacing season coming to an end, but you and I both knows what comes next. That's the real racing season.
Oh, yeah, we're already getting started, and with real racing season comes chance of rain, so that's already doing some fun things. But no rain here, despite iRacing doing their little updates here lately. But I hope you enjoyed your time in the infield there doing some gambling. But we're going to go racing here one last time, and we got a pretty good field and somewhat of a points battle coming into this last race.
Going to be a tall order for Ryan Messer to try and grab this championship with Daddio coming in as the points leader and getting the pole. He got those bonus points. So if Daddio finishes 20th or better, there's a good shot of the Referee Brewing onboard camera there looking down the hood of the pole sitter of the 99 car. If he finishes 20th or better, he clinches the Season 5 championship with 25 cars on the docket here tonight. I'm not saying that's going to be an easy night because we've seen some crazy things happen here in the NEP series on VidaneTV, but it is going to be a tall order for Ryan Messer. He's 25 points back. He needs to win this race, and he needs to see the 99 car get into a little bit of trouble. He's going to have a front row view here, Aaron, because he's starting P2.
Oh, yeah, and he's a couple points further back than he was. Just missing the pole there, and probably the worst person he could start outside of there. But Steve Daddio, Ryan Messer, the two championship contenders, starting on the front row. And then we'll go back to row two. Brent Roy and Evan Bollier both looking to lock up the season with they're looking for their first wins of the year still.
John Peters, three-time series champion, going to be starting P5. Ryan Libby on his outside, rolling off P6.
And then we got Kenny Kibbe in row 4. And Corey Casagrande coming back after a missing Loudon. He was at Hickory last weekend, grabbing a pair of top 10 finishes in his super late model. And quickly rounding out the top 10 here, there's Brandon Newhouse and Dale Glessner, one of the drivers we'll be talking about a little bit later.
Going to be able to tune into the social media outlets to check out the Rookie of the Year contenders as we get ready to take that green flag. Daddio and Messer up front as the rest of the starting grid rolls on your screen there. 25 drivers making the start for the final time here at Dover for the Adams Photography 100, and we are green.
And here we go into turn 1. Stephen Daddio and Ryan Messer. Messer on the outside. We were watching a bit in practice. They were sliding on that outside line, getting through turn 2. It was one of our South race notes that we'll share here shortly, but it's going to be a bit treacherous here. Almost every lap here in this 100-lap race, pretty much the longest race we've seen all year.
Bullet point number 3 on Mr. Salvatore's statistics here. Very tricky 1 mile oval, especially on the corner exit. Easy to get these cars loose and spin out and get tight and up into the wall. You saw Messer get a piece of that wall. And Aaron, as you were coming into the production trailer, I was kind of eyeballing these guys here on the hard camera. They are loose in these Xfinity cars here, especially in the back end and especially down there in treacherous turn number 2.
But you know what they say at all racetracks, loose is fast. So these guys are cruising right along right now, and we're clicking off these laps there. You saw it right there coming at it too, a little bit further back in the field. And yeah, we're going to be clicking off these laps pretty quickly as Stephen Daddio off to a good start over Ryan Messer, Evan Bollier, Brent Roy, and John Peters. Bollier and Peters, 2 former winners here at Dover.
Yeah, it's the 4th consecutive season here in NEP that the finale's been at the Monster Mile. Libby, Bollier, and Peters have all come home with victories here. And this is the final NEP race using the Xfinity cars. So you got to wonder, well, you don't even have to wonder. You know this cast of characters, they want to be known as the guy that's going to finish off and win the final Xfinity race here in the NEP series, because next season we'll be in the trucks.
Well, for most of these guys, there's no points on the line. And, well, we'll get back to that thought here in a second. As we got a yellow 5 laps in, and our first yellow in a few weeks.
Indeed it is, and you can see getting a little bit of assistance there. Jeffrey Brown spun around into the outside. Doesn't look like it was too big of a hit, but we'll back that up on the instant replay and take a peek at it. There you see Jeffrey Brown trying to take advantage of, I believe that's Kyle Casagrande up in front of him. Nope, just kidding, Steve Lord. And there you see just a couple of drivers going for the same piece of real estate. 78 of Mike Hopkins coming in, giving him a little bit of a tap and sending him up into the outside safer barrier. Luckily, he was able to get that Mustang on the binders and slowed up before any major damage was put down into it.
Yeah, definitely kept it off the wall there, and we're all able to keep going once again. And looks like Brent Roy is going to fake everyone out. It looked like he was going to head down pit road, but drivers have 2 sets of tires for today's race, and they can make it on about 65 or so green flag laps on fuel. So I think it's still going to be a while until we see most of the leaders come down pit road. Bit too early for that. Some of these drivers near the back, though, taking advantage, including Scott McDonald, who has an outside shot at a top 10 points finish. He's currently 11th in points, 11 behind Corey Casagrande, and Bobby Shipp and a few others coming down.
Yeah, the brothers Shipp, Mike Hopkins, Jeffrey Brown getting some of that damage taken care of on the 27 car. Half dozen or so cars down here on pit road, and didn't look like anybody was taking tires. You might see some tires on the 27 as he got that thing spun around, maybe got the tires flat spotted just a little bit, but just kind of adding a little bit of fuel to the tank here. Don't quite have any kind of tire wear issues like we saw at Bristol. I guess it depends on who you ask, right? Was it an issue or was it old school short track race?
Yeah, that's true. That was an interesting weekend of racing out there on the high banks of Bristol, from what I heard. Fortunately, I wasn't able to tune in, but I saw a whole lot of mentions and whatnot. And I don't know if this is what Brent Roy's doing, kind of sitting on the apron here. He's doing some fuel conserving already. I don't know. It seems a little early for that. Maybe just kind of showing off so we give him a little attention too. But he's having a solid top 5 run right now. He's had some bad luck here in recent weeks. He'd like to bring that Flow Racing car home with a win or a podium finish to round out the season before we go real racing up there in Canada, where he's from. So in New Brunswick, I believe the province is. They're going to be doing a whole lot of racing over, I think it's Speedway 660 and a bunch of other places, and lots of cool things going on all across the continent here, starting out here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we were actually able to see the iRacing version of the Super Late Model Series presented by Easy Clean here on VidaneTV on Monday nights. It was cool to see that group of drivers kind of get paired up with the RBR Maritime group. Ryan Messer won that championship. Trying to get the 2 for here. Still has, he's doing what he needs to right now. He's running up in the top 2, needs to win this race, but we mentioned it on the top of the show. The 99 car's got to have some kind of issues for the Messer machine and the Messer Army to come home with that championship. But we're 8 laps in, 92 laps to go, 91 once we cross the stripe, waiting on Barney up in the flag stand to give us that green flag. Coming up to the restart zone, green, racing once again here for the Adams 100 at Dover.
And we saw Ryan Messer, the initial start, was actually able to keep that car on the outside and run pretty well, but now he's going to tuck to the inside instead, and we might have a battle for the lead going on as they battle for 5th further back between John Peters and Kenny Kibbe, our only champions in NEP up until today, but we're going to have a new champion before this is all said and done. Ryan Messer takes the lead, and he gets a bonus point for doing so. Of course, that's kind of canceled out because Steve Daddio had already led a couple laps, so yeah, that's still going to be 20th or better the way we're unofficially calculating things. It's going to be, Messer's going to need some kind of disaster for Daddio in order to potentially lock this up. And it's going to be, like you said, a tall order for that. Further middle in the pack, there we see Corey Casagrande battling with, that was Jeffrey Bradway and Ryan Salvatore. Bradway continues to be in the hunt for the rookie chase. He's a bit further back, though. I don't think he's going to be able to make up that ground on Colby Burkholder. He runs in 18th right now. It's a bit of a separation there. I think Burkholder's locked up the rookie title. But right now, these drivers, like you said, this is the final race for these Xfinity cars. A lot of drivers' points isn't on the line really, and they don't have to bring these cars back in one piece necessarily. So I think we're going to see a good bit of aggression before we're all said and done for tonight.
Absolutely. You see Corey Casagrande holding on to that 10th position. Made mention he came back from the real Hickory Motor Speedway, with a pair of top 10s last weekend. So always cool to see that little battling back, 4 or 5-way battle back here just outside the top 15. Scott McDonald in the 44 car holding everybody off. There you see the 7 machine back here as well. Cody Lamont, Alliston Belke, Colby Burkholder, not quite handling the way they want to. You can see kind of weaving a little bit coming out of turn 4, a little side-by-side action back there with Jeff Brown and tonight's sponsor, Jared Adams, in that 43 car, jumping on board, sponsoring the Adams Film and Photography 100 here, closing out the season. But back up front, these two are still hooked up, and I feel like the past 3, 4, even 5 races, the 99 and the 1, have just been kind of hooked up bumper to bumper throughout the races.
Yeah, Messer and Daddio have really just gotten into a rhythm when it comes to racing here. And if it wasn't for just a couple of, I wouldn't call it a subpar run really, but a couple of miscues and bad luck on Ryan Messer's side, he'd be right in the middle of this. But Steven Daddio has just been completely consistent this season. In 15 races, he has 13 top 5s, 14 top 10s. Only won a couple times. Has not led. We have 4 drivers that have been in triple digits with laps led, and Daddio is not one of them. In fact, his championship contenders are Ryan Messer and Regan Parent, who wasn't able to join us tonight, unfortunately. Those are the drivers that have been leading the most laps. So Daddio has just been very consistent, and we know consistency wins championships.
Yeah, and we've seen Bollier back there in 3rd. He has had a strong car all season long in both the late models and the Xfinity cars. Brent Roy there in 4th as well. Kenny Kibbe always quick in the number 4 car. John Peters, 3-time champion, running in 6th. Uhouse, Libby, Glessner, and now Ryan Salvatore breaking in to the top 10 for the first time here this evening. He's actually the biggest mover so far, second biggest mover. He's up 5 spots from where he qualified in that 12 car, running in 10th. Biggest mover of the race going to be Jason Ricker back in that number 9 car. He's gained himself 7 spots on the night so far. And we've seen these drivers run the team super trucks from a couple of years back, where they kind of got together, 4-man teams, and went out, kind of made points. It's going to be interesting, though, to see kind of every man for himself running the truck series. I don't believe it's going to be a full schedule of trucks. I think we're going to have some alternating vehicles in and out, kind of like what we did this year. But I'm really excited to run trucks next year. It's going to be cool to see some of these real-life paint schemes on a truck body for a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, and having only joined the NEP in the 3rd, how many has it been? I'm already losing track. I think I joined in season 3, but have not seen the trucks in action really, and so I'm pretty excited to see that and how these cars. Well, we're going to have a jar by the time we say car instead of truck so many times, kind of like they did in the mid '90s when the Super Truck series started. So that's going to be interesting as well. But it'll be interesting to see how these trucks handle at some of these different facilities, and also what facilities we go to throughout the season. So it'll be interesting. Stay tuned on NEP and Vidane social media to see where we'll be going in the 2024-25 season, as we see the Evan Bollier has moved into 2nd. He's catching up to MC Hammer over here in the 1.
Yeah, the Hancock Lumber onboard telling us the story that we need to sell. That 56 car is quick. He's going to get down on the bottom side of Messer, take over the lead, slide on up, and grab that position. Daddio going to try and follow him down there on the entry to 3. Not quite enough steam, but you can see it brought him right to the back bumper of Messer in that 1 car, now in 2nd.
Yeah, and look at the top 5, all pretty much nose to tail right here. Evan Bollier, looking for his first win of the season, and he's a former winner here, but another former winner at Dover got his first win in a long time last week at New Hampshire, Ryan Libby. So definitely we could see another new winner We'll have to go back and look at the stats and see how many. If this year we've seen the most different winners, and we got trouble on the racetrack there for a second there, Mike, but we're staying under green. And but yeah, Evan Boyer would be the. I'm counting now in the points. He would be the 7th different winner this season. So we'll have to go back and kind of look through the records, see how many different. If that's a record, I think we probably had around that many last season, maybe more. But it's always cool to see some of the parity that we have in the competition that allows for so many different winners. I mean, it's been quite a few races, even though John Peters has won 5 times this season. That it's been a few weeks since we've seen him in victory lane.
And I know a guy that that'll be able to tell you right off the rip, and it's this guy right here in the 12 car. He's probably screaming the answer from behind the virtual wheel, because we know he watches and listens in on the broadcast throughout these races. But we got to give a shout out to Ryan Salvatore with RSal-TV. He's been hooking us up each and every race, gives us some race notes and some statistics, and the spreadsheet that he keeps track of literally everything NEP is pretty astounding. So got to give a call to RSal. He's been battling in and outside around the bottom side of that top 10. Looks like Casa Grande got by him for that 10th spot, but still running pretty strong here at Dover for that 12 car.
Yeah, for sure. And he's got a whole host of competitors right on his tail, though. Jeffrey Bradway, Zane Farrell, Johnny Miller. Some of these guys kind of still in the midst of some battles in the point standings. Zane Farrell is 8th, but only has a 1-point lead on U-House, a 4-point lead on Casa Grande. Johnny Miller's 13th in points, looking to move up. So a lot going on here, a lot at stake before all is said and done. And one thing that is interesting, we were talking about 20th or better. There's one less spot that Daddio can fall back, as it looks like Cody LeBlanc is in the pits in the 07. Tough break for the number 7 there of LeBlanc, and he was another one that we saw down at Hickory. I think he was spotting for someone this past weekend. So a tough break, not the way you want to end the season, but also it means that if we end up with some more attrition, it could lock things up for Daddio. Right now, we're clean and green, though, as we near the 1/3 mark in this race.
Yeah, you can see Daddio slip back to just outside the top 5, running in the 6th position right now. Still has a very comfortable lead, 21 points right now as they run over 2nd place in the championship standing. Currently, Ryan Messer, who's going to take over for Reagan Parent, who did not start here this evening. John Peters sliding himself into the top 5 as well. He's up a spot into 4th. It's still Bollier, Messer, and Kibbe, though, the top 3.
Yeah, and luckily for Parent, I think he's pretty much got 3rd locked up in the points. I don't think he's going to be able to fall much further back. But yeah, the Kibbe and Peters are definitely going to try to. They're actually in a little battle themselves in the points as well. Peters is about 15 ahead of Kibbe, who is actually tied for 6th with Evan Boyer, who's leading the way. So a lot to be settled, like we've said already a few times. Right now, a little further back, Dale Glessner running in 8th, followed by Brandon Uhouse and Corey Casagrande. Glessner is kind of one of our drivers to watch. A bit of a wild card here, but he was 4th here in Season 3, 3 top 10s in his last 4 starts. So Dale Glessner is going to be one to watch. Still watching Jason Ricker here, who I don't think took a qualifying time and continues to move up. And that was an interesting move a little further back, as Jeffrey Bradway was looking for a way by the 12 of Ryan Salvatore. So almost some interesting action there taking place as Mike Hopkins moving up now into the 16th spot.
Yeah, good run for that 78 car. You can see he's got a little bit of speed there as he gets right up to the back bumper of the 13. He's going to try and break the air just a little bit, see if he can maybe get something to happen down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Nothing this lap, and you can see he's going to have to make quick work of that 13 car, because Belke in the 24, haven't mentioned him all night long. He is having himself a solid run back here as well. A little sideways. I believe that was the 26 car we might have just caught going a little bit awry back there. They gather it back up, though. Still clean and green here on lap 35. Only the one early caution just a few laps to go, and that in turn brings up the question, are we going to see fuel issues? Are we going to see some green flag pit stops? And what's going to go on with tire conservation? Have these guys practiced on coming down pit road on older tires? These are all things that have happened multiple times in this closing race here at Dover. You and I you brought up before we came on the air here, Aaron, that pit road entry, treacherous.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, and I have a feeling these guys are kind of waiting it out to see if a yellow flag comes out before they even try to come down for a green flag pit stop. And they still got a while.
Whoa.
Well, there you might have our yellow flag right there. Oh, maybe not. Hopkins keeps going there. We saw him slam that inside wall. We're staying green for the time being, but he's going to have to slow it down and probably bring it down pit road. Not sure what happened there to the 78. We might have to ask him a little bit later and see what happened there to the number 78 vehicle. And but back on the track, we're continuing under green. Evan Boyer leading the way, the top four altogether now, and separated by about 0.6 of a second. Yeah, we still got a bit of a ways to go. I mean, 65 laps they can make it on fuel, so we got, we're actually past the way. If they all pitted now, they could probably all just make it the rest of the way. That would throw some strategy out of the window. But we still got, 2 sets of tires. Dover's a somewhat abrasive track with the old concrete surface. So we'll have to see how things continue to progress.
And who's going to be the first one to come down pit road as well? We saw that factor into last week's race as we saw a couple drivers come down pit road early to try and take advantage of fresher tires, and they were about a second quicker a lap, and that is huge on these 1 mile and shorter tracks here, especially when it comes to the championship battle. And there's so many different type battles, not just the championship battle with the top 3 drivers, but all the way throughout the top 10 and top 15. Drivers out there trying to get every last point that they possibly can. You can see Jeff Brown in the 27 car. He's going to come off pit road multiple laps down. It looks like Mike Hopkins still getting that 78 car worked on. He may very well be done for the evening in the 78 car. Just like a microburst. Something happens, not sure where it happened, and nothing left over other than debris, unfortunately, for that 78 car. And it appears we might have our first taker for green flag pit stops. Casagrande's down.
Yeah, he's down pretty early, and we got a few following him in. I believe is that Zane Farrell? He's switching up. Zane's got the Keith Lord paint scheme, or maybe it's Keith's car. I can't really tell. It might have been the 17 with the 4 there over it, but yeah, you see he's got the 14 there, kind of slapped over the 17. So Zane borrowing Keith Lord's car. It looks like. Well, Keith's, I think, in Texas doing some spotting duties. But back on the track, front 4 continuing to run together. They're not coming down pit road right now. And right now, we still have 24 cars on the track. Brown and Hopkins, like you mentioned, several laps down. Tough break for Brown. He came into this race actually 5th in laps completed this season. So Jeff always... unfortunately, he came just short of a top 10 finish a few weeks ago at, I think it was Talladega, but he's always there running at the end. So, unfortunately, his season not coming to a good close. But here's some drivers that are looking to end their season on a high note as some of the other drivers further back continue to make pit stops.
Here you can see 2 more drivers coming on down. Dale Glessner, Brandon Newhouse going to get some service to these machines. Just about 60 laps or so to go, and these drivers doing what they like to call in the racing world a little reverse pitting. Coming down at the absolute earliest point that they can get down there, get this thing full of fuel, get any repairs out of the way, and maybe take a set of tires, leave one out there if we do, in fact, get a late race caution. But that is one of the things, again, we saw last week. Zane Farrell was one of those early pit stop takers last week, as well as we see Johnny Miller, Jason Ricker, Ryan Salvatore all going to come down. They're going to come down for some green flag pit stops. You got to wonder, when is this going to force the hand for some of these leaders, as you can see just how much quicker that 7 car is getting around these leaders like they're standing still.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we saw this last week, like you said, Regan Parent and Zane Farrell kind of worked that pitting early strategy. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out for them last week. We didn't have a single yellow in that race. But here, I think there's a better chance that we could see a yellow pop up in the middle of pit stops, or when some have pitted, some haven't, and it could really mix things up. So Corey Casagrande, I believe, back on the lead lap now in that 7 car. Actually, it looks like he's still 1 lap down. Looks like then that's the thing about Dover, a faster pace. Coming down pit road for service, you're going to lose a couple laps, not just one.
Yeah, you saw him get one of those laps back the hard way, as did Glessner. There's Adam Henry, Austin Belke, Colby Burkholder, Rookie of the Year contender, coming down pit road here as well. And you're starting to see Ryan Messer going to see the 14 car of Zane Farrell, one of the second drivers to come down, or the second driver to come down pit road. He's going to get one of his laps back the hard way as well. And look how much quicker that 14 car is than our leaders. There you can see they're side by side as they get to the ally sign. And they get into 3 and 4, and Zane's just gone. He's going to pull away 3, 4, 5 car lengths. They're going to get onto the straightaway here, and he is just going to check out. So gaining one of those laps back, Kenny Kibbe, Steve Dadio, championship contender right now down on pit road. Jeffrey Bradway, the other Rookie of the Year contender, down on pit road here as well.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much just leaves us with Evan Boyer, Ryan Messer, John Peters, and Ryan Libby. I think are the only ones that have yet to come down pit road. So those 4 are kind of just awaiting. And here they come. Ryan Libby now the only one staying out. So Libby's going to try to bank on the possibility of some kind of yellow coming out here. And then he might be on a lap by himself almost. So, but the odds of that probably pretty slim. As the front 3 come down, we'll have to see what kind of order they come out of the pits from. As we are crossing halfway now. Ryan Libby leading the way. Were those fuel-only stops that we just saw?
That definitely looked like it. Dadio stopped, took some fuel, and jetted. Did not bother putting tires on that 99 car. Ryan Libby going to come down pit road here this time by after leading himself a lap, leaving 2. Count them 2. Scott McDonald in the 44 car. He's going to try and stay out and get himself a lap led, as well as Brian Shipp running right now, being scored in the 2nd spot as they both get around Ryan Libby, who is still coming down pit road here. So McDonald going to inherit the lead in that 44 car, the 48 car running in 2nd. And it's looking like Brent Roy is going to be the first car out on track after pit stops. Dale Glessner, Corey Casagrande. So there's some interesting pit road strategy that happened here. Oh, no, trouble for the leader. McDonald faves it.
Yeah, that was interesting between McDonald and Shipp there. I was about to say, those 2 actually came out that first yellow. So they still have a few more laps where they could stay out if they wanted to. I think McDonald's going to want to come in now, but he has lost a lot of track position after whatever that altercation that happened there, going for the lead, or at least for now what the lead is. But Brian Shipp now out front in the 48. Scott McDonald going to come down pit road from the looks of it.
Yeah, you can see he got that thing spun around, didn't get a caution, almost looked like he was kind of waving the car around like, hey, guys, I'm wrecked. No yellow, we stay green. Brian Shipp holding on to the lead right now. Brent Roy going to inherit 2nd. Brian Shipp still has to come down and make himself a pit stop. There's Jason Ricker in the 9 car on fresher tires. You can see just how much quicker that clean rubber is on these Xfinity cars. Going to cross the stripe and already put about 10 car lengths over that 48 car. We check in with Brent Roy, currently in 2nd by himself almost. There you see Adams in behind. He's a lap down, it looks like. First car 1 lap down. Dale Glessner back in the 10 car. We saw him peel off pit road just a little bit ago, currently scored in 3rd. Corey Casagrande up into the 4th position, and Evan Boyer, as they run, currently in 5th.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting, like we said, with those with a lot of them taking fuel only there on pit road, it seemed, and seeing how this all goes, because we saw the speed difference on those cars. So it's going to be interesting to see how this continues on. Everyone's really reeling in on Brian Shipp pretty quickly. Brent Roy keeps saying it was about to say 8 seconds. Now it's 7. Now it's 6. Now it's 5. So Brian Shipp actually coming down pit road now, and Brent Roy is going to inherit the lead.
So the Camry kid inherits the lead, and a massive lead as well. Take a look at the scoring pylon there on the left-hand side of your screen. 4 3/4 seconds over 2nd place Dale Glessner. You got to wonder what that pit stop was all about for that number 26 Flow Racing car, and did everything they needed to do, and it looks like the driver still has a little bit of steam left in the old engine there, because he's starting to pull away by just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And Yeah, I don't know who took. We might have to go back and look and see who took 2 tires, who took 4, who took fuel only. It's kind of an interesting strategy, if any, took fuel only, because 2 tires doesn't take much longer than taking fuel only. So, but Brent Roy leading the way, he's got a comfortable lead, and whatever that strategy was, I think that's working out right now. But we still got probably another round of pit stops to go. Everyone at this point can pretty much make it on fuel, but once again, the whole tire game, that's going to be interesting to see, as Messer has gotten around Corey Casgrande for 6th.
Bollier sliding back into that second spot to 56, getting around the 10 car. Nope, not quite. Still side by side for that second spot. You can see Kibbe up in the mix there as well, all chasing down. They've got the 78 of Hopkins up in front, back out on track after getting some repairs on that machine, and probably stopping for a quick snack as well. Bollier going to get around A-OK there, and you can see the gap starting to shrink just a little bit, 4.4 seconds now the gap here, but Bollier has a whole lot of fresh air up in front in his windshield, so he's going to try and focus on the task at hand, and you can see he's already reeled in Roy by about 2/10 though. Take a look at these guys trying to get around Hopkins. Hopkins trying to put on a show in that 78 car. Kibbe gets by, Peters gets by, Ryan Messer in the 1 car, next one down and around, and again, Messer doing everything. Whoa, up into the wall goes the 78, collects it. Almost saw the same wreck that he had just a couple of laps ago, but Messer doing everything he can to try and get the championship taken care of, try and win the championship. The only thing is, well, that championship leader's 2 spots behind him. Daddio having a solid run, slid back just a little bit, started on the pole here tonight, had to clinch 18th or better, got the pole, so now it's 20th or better, and lo and behold, there's 20 cars on the lead lap right now. So the hill getting steeper and steeper of a climb for Messer to try and get that championship, but the confidence rising ever so slightly in that 99 camp, but you don't want to touch your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, definitely Ryan Libby turning up the aggression here in the 46 to try to find a way by Daddio. And that's at a point when you're points racing like that, and there's still a slight chance that you could lose this championship. Do you let Libby by, or do you race him hard? I mean, Libby's a clean racer. We've seen it before. But you never know what can happen at a track like this. And there can be racing deals where it's no one's fault, and they're just looking at the same piece of real estate at the same time. So we'll see what happens. Bollier running in second, Kibbe approaching him pretty quickly. Brent Roy's lead has shrunk to less than 3 seconds. These guys are catching him pretty quickly. Brent was one of the drivers that pitted sort of early, a little bit earlier than some of the leaders. So maybe that's making a bit of a difference. Brent Roy and Evan Bollier 1-2. We've talked about them a lot today, and both of them very hungry to get their first win of the season.
And we saw an interesting way of doing battle last week, and it's an interesting strategy. I don't know why I just lost the word strategy, but in any sense, saw an interesting strategy from Reagan Parent last week, where he came down pit road early under green flag conditions, and we made mention was really able to kind of capitalize with that fresh rubber, and we kind of saw that here tonight. About a third of the distance went down, and drivers started to come down pit road, so we may very well see this last third of the race, drivers come down, they take that last set of tires that they have down on pit road. You got 2 of them down there, and we'll see if that kind of comes into play, because this really starts to feel like it's a long green flag run, and that's exactly what we had last week.
For sure. We still got 33 laps to finish this thing, too. And that's a long way to go here, even on this quick mile oval, as Jared Adams pulls to the inside there to let the lead drivers go by. Jared sponsoring this week's race, the Adams Photo and Film 100. It's actually his first time racing at Dover with the NEP series. The over-under for the NEP bets for him is 17.5, so he's going to try to pick up a couple more spots to get some of those people that have been pulling for him to win a little cash here before all is said and done. But right now, Daddio actually letting Libby get by here for the 6th spot now. as we continue to look at that pylon since things have been shuffling a little bit. But 7th's good enough right now. It's probably going to be one of his, if he stays there, it's probably going to be one of his worst finishes of the season. But still, he's doing what he needs to do. Ryan Messer, like you said, is doing what he needs to do. He'll need to move up a few more spots to have any real shot at the championship. But that's all you can really ask from someone right now.
You know what's playing through the headset of the 56 crew right now? The Jaws theme. Dun-up, 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 dun-up. Half a second the gap between Roy and Bollier. Roy has lap traffic up in front of him. We're taking a look down the nose of the 56 car. He is at the leader. He's got 30 laps to do his work. Does he have enough time? Does he have enough car to get around and win the final race of the season? We got 29 laps to figure it out.
Yeah, and Evans really seemed to be the driver to beat so far during this distance. We saw him muscle away that lead from both Messer and Daddio earlier on. And looks like he might not have too much trouble doing that. Coming off of turn 4 here, he's going to peek to the inside and might get it here in the first 2 turns.
And there you see the pit stop strategy there. 29 laps ago is when Brent Roy came down pit road. 22 laps ago for Bollier, so 7-lap fresher tires on that 56 car. They are still side by side. Kibbe is there as well, going to narrow up the gap. Peter's going to jump up and join this fatal 4-way here. Fatal 4-way battle between some guys that they know each other pretty well. They are very familiar with the top 5, and they're going to try and get those bragging rights. They want to be the last driver to win in the Xfinity car here in the NEP series.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen the last of John Peters here in the 09. Haven't really seen him contending right at the front of the field here lately, but he's one of those drivers that's able to conserve it, and if you give him a whiff of that lead, then he's going to be there potentially near the end. So Kenny Kibbe, John Peters are only past NEP champions right there in the mix right now. Solid top 4 right here battling up front. Ryan Libby back in 5th. He's been able to get by Ryan Messer, so that's pretty interesting right there. And now Steven Daddio catching Messer once again. So Messer falling off just a little bit.
There you can see there's Messer in the 6th position. Daddio there in 7th. Glessner 8th. Casagrande and Uhouse the top 10 as they run. And you can see with 3/4 of this race in the books, it's a little bit spread out. Here we go with Jason Ricker just outside the top 10 in 11th. He's gained himself 11 spots throughout the course of the night. Johnny Miller in the 6th car in behind, having a solid run there. Austin Belke, he's gained 10 spots. The stat man, RSal TV's very own Ryan Salvatore running in 14th. Jeffrey Bradway, Adam Henry, Zane Farrell, Colby Burkholder, Bobby Shipp, and Jaron Adams rounding out the top 20. And 18 of those drivers on the lead lap here with 25 to go.
Yeah, still a lot of drivers in contention here. Before we finish this one up, less than a quarter of this race left. Evan Bollier has Kenny Kibbe all over the back of him. Now Kibbe's going to look to the outside. Bollier, though, using pretty protective line here around this mile oval. High banks, and Kibbe's now looks like he might try to the inside, but once again, Evan Bollier protecting that lead.
Yeah, we know that 56 car very, very quick here and does a great job at saving tires as well. So we'll see what he's got left in the tank, in the proverbial tank. We made mention they've got enough fuel. They've got about 60 laps that they can make it on a tank of fuel here, and it's all going to be about tires. Yes, they do have enough tires to make it to the end, but the time that we saw after a 30-lap run almost, these cars were about a second and a half slower than when they at the beginning of the run. So I think if anybody was going to try and come down pit road, maybe take a set of those tires and try and take advantage of those quick lap times, I think now is the time to do it. I think that was Perrin's only downfall last week with that strategy, is might have came down pit road 5-10 laps too late on that second and final pit stop. But 22 laps to go, coming to the stripe, 21 laps to go on the season and in the Adams Photography 100 here at Dover.
Yeah, definitely. Top 3 really doing a great job here as they pulled away from Brent Roy, whose car's been fading a little bit here in recent laps. And once again, maybe because of pitting a little bit early. you said they all could make it on fuel, but some of those pit stops we saw coming down through service were pretty quick. Hopefully, they filled those tanks with all the fuel that they could. I don't want to bring some more drama into it, but what the heck, right? But right now, Evan Boyer continuing to show the way, keeping Kenny Kibbe and John Peters at bay for the time being. Ryan Libby pressuring Brent Roy for fourth. Lots of great battles all over this racetrack.
And that's one of the things we got to take a peek at, too, is that 26 car. Brent, look at how tight that car is. He had the 46 Libby down there on the bottom side, but that car almost went straight right into the outside safety barrier. That car not quite handling as well as it was. Remember, that car had a 4-5 second lead about 20 laps ago, and the drivers were able to, or the field rather, was able to run that lead down and get around him. I don't know. There might be some damage on that 26 car because I don't think 7-lap older tires are going to slow down that much. But Brent Roy definitely has his hands full. Almost contact between he and the 46 car. They get it all sorted out, though, and there you see it. Just off the throttle real early. That car does not want to turn.
How about behind them? Our two championship contenders are having a heck of a battle for sixth. Well, we'll say they were, Ryan Messer and Steve Daddio, because we have our second yellow with 18 laps to go.
Oh, no. Salvatore up into Mike Hopkins. Oh, Adam Henry, nowhere to go. Big hit for the 62 and the 78 right in front. There's your leaders coming on around. That's a scary situation. We'll back that up and take a look at it from high atop the racetrack and find out exactly what went down between these two cats. And kind of running mid-pack on back there. You see the 13. You got to back it up all the way. There you see the 13 down low. Hopkins up on the high side. Here comes Ryan Salvatore in the 12 car. Might be a little bit fresher tires. That looks like, well, what's that look like to you, Aaron?
I don't know. I think Hopkins was a little bit loose there on the straightaway. I mean, it kind of seemed like Salvatore was anticipating as you saw him kind of dive low there. And then, yeah, it's a tough break for Adam Henry, his first full season. And we got all kinds of cars down pit road. I think every lead lap car is down.
Yeah, we could take a look at the replay as many times as we want, but the story's going to be on pit road. This is going to be huge. This is going to define the season, I think, because as we look, we've got about 20 cars on the lead lap. Steve Daddio, there you see, he's going to come all the way down to pit stop number 1. We'll take an eye on, or take a look at that car. The car's wiggling. He got right sides. Messer, 2 tire stops, 1 car down and away. There's the 56, the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Daddio's going to come out of here 7th, it looks like, as he's going to be the first driver with 4 tires.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have, looks like 1 driver did stay out, Jared Adams in the 43. So we'll have an interesting restart when we get going. And I think it'll be Messer and Boyer on the front row when we go back to green. I'm not sure what's going on here with the 43 car. I thought he was a lap down. So he might be actually slowing down here to get back into his position. But Jared Adams having a good show of it, though, in his first time here at Dover, and I think he's going to come down pit road this time by the lap cars. They're allowed to come down pit road this time by, but Ryan Messer is back down pit road again. Not sure what this is about.
That is detrimental to the championship hopes of the 1 car. Looks like it may be a drive-through penalty. I can't imagine he'd come down to try and top off with 15 laps to go. Going to stop, check in with the crew, and you can see just dropping down that scoring pylon. They're going to jack that car up, so it might have been some kind of error on that last pit stop. But man, oh man, that's a tough break for the 1 car of Messer.
Yeah, I wonder if they missed a lug nut or 2 or something like that. But they were jacking up the left side of the car, so he said, might as well, since we're coming back down pit road, get those left side tires as well. So Messer's going to be on a mission when we go back to green. He's going to be pretty far back there on the lead lap, probably around 18th spot. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see how that goes. Jared Adams coming back on the racetrack. I think he will get the free pass now that he's completed his pit stop. I think he was the first car a lap down. So we'll have about 18 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Messer's going to restart pretty far back when we go back to green with about 13 or so laps to go.
And back up front, you can see Scott McDonald trying to get waved around the pace car there. He's right up, bump drafting with that pace car here under caution. There you can see our leader, Evan Bollier, 56 car. I'd say that 56 car is probably the fastest car here at Dover here tonight. And you can see he's actually going to take the high side. Kenny Kibbe going to shoot down on the bottom side. Brent Roy back up in third with the same tires as everybody else. And you got to figure they got whatever damage might have been on that car fixed as well. John Peters up in the mix. Ryan Libby, championship point leader right now in sixth. Steve Daddio, Dale Glessner, Brandon Newhouse, Corey Casagrande, and Jason Ricker, the top 10. 19 drivers on the lead lap with 14 laps to go, 13 as they cross the stripe. It is going to be one heck of a finish to the season here, and you're only going to see it here on VidaneTV.
Yeah, for sure. Better tune in now if you haven't been. Well, of course, if they're not tuning in, you're not going to hear us encouraging them to. But we're about to go back to green. Bold strategy here with Evan Bollier choosing the outside. Kenny Kibbe and John Peters have been right there with him during that last green flag run. We'll see if Evan Bollier is able to hold these hungry drivers off for his first victory of the season.
There you can see the pace car down on the safety of pit road. The green flag flies once again. Couple of drivers mid-pack missing a shift, it looks like. Bollier gets the absolute hole shot that he needs. Almost 3 wide there for a second, 4 second. And there you see Kenny Kibbe was able to shoot out. Oh, big time loose for the 09 car. He was drifting through that entire corner. The 99 going to shoot up high. The 3 car right in behind. How about Newhouse joining the top 5?
Yeah, we've seen him kind of joining the top 5 a couple times here in recent weeks. Just missed out on a top 5 finish last week at New Hampshire. Finished 6th. I think that was his best finish of the year. And he's going to look to crack the top 5 here, but he's got to deal with some of these strong drivers. John Peters, I'm sure, is going to gather it up here. Steven Daddio and Peters almost making contact there as they both move inside of Brent Roy, who his car still seems to be a little bit on the tight side, as now Newhouse is going to challenge him for 5th spot.
Remember, Daddio, first driver that came off pit road with 4 tires, and it looks like it's showing here. There are not many drivers that can pull away from John Peters like that. And you can see he already put 3, 4, 5 car lengths between the two of them. Coming around into 3 and 4, going to cross the stripe once they get there for 10 laps to go. And Daddio currently in third. He's got his sights set on the lead. Does he have enough time to get there? Oh, 26 up to the wall, as is, I believe, Ricker, the 9 car around. Going to give us a caution flag here. That's a tough break for that 9 car. Not quite the qualifying effort that they wanted in that 9 crew, but man, oh man, were they climbing up the scoring pylon, up in the top 10 here for the better part of the second half of the race. And unfortunately, getting some big-time damage with that 9 car.
Yeah, tough break for Jason Ricker. God, that was working that outside really well, but it just seems like I think he scraped that wall before there was contact. And yeah, we said he missed qualifying, but has really been moving up through the field here. Kind of was probably scurrying back from Hickory, doing his technical inspection duties with the pass series there this past weekend. But yeah, it looked like he scraped the wall there, and then came across the 46 of Ryan Libby. We've said it time and time again, Libby's been involved in quite a few things this year. It was great to see him get a victory, though, last weekend. But yeah, Jason Ricker's going to have to gather it back up and try to finish this deal. With those 2 drivers being involved, we got Ryan Messer back up to 11th, and now the field bunches up for the restart. So that's going to be interesting as well. We still have 19 cars on the lead lap. It might be 20 here shortly if Brian Ship gets the free pass. So once again, Daddio has to still stay out of trouble. You don't want to end up with a wrecked race car here coming down towards the end. Even though it's pretty much win or nothing for Ryan Messer to gain the championship. But there you see the 99 of Daddio back up to third, kind of the best we've seen him running since early in the race. So we'll see what happens here. We're probably going to end up with about 5 or 6 laps to go when we go back racing.
Yeah, and as we take a peek here, looking at the scoring pylon, there's a couple of drivers that are a lap down. There's a few drivers that have parked it. So it's running out of time for Messer and his chances to try and capitalize on the championship, even if he was able to climb all the way up through the field here and win. It looks like Daddio has enough points to kind of cushion that, and he's got a good running spot right now, currently in third. And usually what we would do is we would jump in and we would kind of interview some of the championship contenders, but you and I both know, Aaron, that there's always that commentary curse, and I really don't want to do that to these guys.
Maybe we should pick someone else and talk to them just
Maybe we
randomly.
should. Maybe we should talk to somebody else who's not in the championship battle here. We'll see if we can dial up one of our buddies in that 78 car. Mike Hopkins, Paul Strickland up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Not too bad, Mikey. Man, I've been meaning to ask you all week. What's it feel like to be in a video with Cole Butcher that got over 1 million views on Facebook?
I'll tell you, I'm not generally starstruck. I get used to it, often tagged as the wrong person. So, it's just another day. It's another tag on Twitter, Facebook. And I got some new friends out of it, so it can't be that bad.
Absolutely. It's funny. I actually thought that was you in the video, and Ron here corrected me before we came on the air. But in any sense, not the race you were looking here tonight. Not struggling kind of throughout the season. Are you excited for trucks next year?
Yeah, I'll tell you, funny, Cars Tour tagged me, and their media person didn't pay attention either, which I thought was great. Anyways, yeah, I know this year was kind of rough, a little off. I thought we were going to be a little bit better this year coming in, and I didn't make too many friends this year. We'll see what happens with the trucks. I really like the late model stocks. I still like the Xfinity car. So more than likely, we'll be back for NEP another year. The real racing may have to wait for 2 years, but we'll be back virtually probably.
Absolutely, and we got a little bit of time before we go back to green flag. We'll give you the microphone. Anybody out there watching? Anybody that helps you get to and from the virtual racetrack?
Well, we only raced 2 races last year, but Skip's Outdoor Accents has been a great partner of ours for 8 years now. They do a great job with sheds and everything of the like. If you're looking for that, go to sheds.net and check them out. They have 2 locations, one in Mass and one in Connecticut.
Mike Hopkins in the 78 car. Thanks for talking with us. We're going back green. Time to get back to work. 78 car stuck down on pit road. Always fun to kind of joke around a little bit. You and I both know now that there's at least 2 Mike Hopkins that drive race cars.
At least. And I shouldn't have told you. I should kind of let it go, and but you worked it in there anyways. We're gonna have a 5-lap dash though, getting back into the end of this race. Evan Boyer, Kenny Kibbe on the front row once again. Evan choosing the outside once more. Had a bit of a sluggish restart there, coming through the restart zone, bringing it down very slowly last time, and it seems like we're bringing it down pretty slowly here through turn 4 once again to get the green flag. Paul, let's restart this one.
High five from Barney in the flag stand. 5 laps to go here in the Adams Photography 100 at Dover. The 56 car gets the shot that he needs. He gets a bit of a shove from fellow main driver John Peters, but Kibbe opens up the door on the bottom side. That 4 car wants second.
Yeah, but Peters is coming. How about that run he got on that restart? Looks like he's going to be able to stay ahead of Kibbe, maybe, but he's going to have to work for it now. Yeah, I thought he was going to be able to clear him.
Yellow.
Oh, we got another yellow. We're going to have a green-white checker finish to round out this.
Trouble in paradise for the Camry kid. It looks like he had a little bit of help. Oh, my goodness. What a shot. What another shot. And almost a third shot. That 26 car is tore up. As you can see, the calamity ensues as well. The brother Ship involved. The other 26 car involved there as well. Colby Burkholder, not exactly the run he was looking for to close out the season. Let's slow this down and take a look at the blimp, because there's birds. I never knew iRacing had birds. That was wild. There you see, kind of leading the second pack, Brent Roy in that white and red Flow Racing ride. You can see a little bit of a shake-up there for Johnny Miller. Looks like he got up into the outside wall. Doesn't seem to affect anybody. There you see Casagrande on the outside, a couple of cars back as well. But the 10 car seems like he's on the back bumper on corner entry and just push. So we'll back that up. I don't know. That's one of those deals. We'll back it up. There's always 2 sides to a story, and it looks like the 10 might have just been a little bit aggressive on the start. But who's to say that there wasn't some other storyline in there as well. We'll take one more look at it here from the blimp as these guys getting ready to rock and roll once again. And you can see that right off the start, it looks like the 26 spun the tires. So has a quick car, but kind of struggling with the handling here in the second half, it looks like. And you can see that is a big couple of hits for the Camry kid.
Yeah, and that just goes to show once again at Dover, once you hit one time and then you get hit another, you get hit hard here at Dover. And also the track just kind of closes up. We see it close up usually the best right here on the back stretch, but even in those first couple turns on the restart with everyone coming up to speed, that track really closed up pretty quick, and a lot of drivers had nowhere to go.
Back up front still, the 56 car. Bollier looking for the victory here. John Peters right in behind. Kenny Kibbe, Steve Daddio, Brandon Uhouse, the top 5 as they run. Johnny Miller, Ryan Libby, Ryan Messer, Corey Casagrande, and rookie contender Jeffrey Bradway going to round out the top 10. Austin Belke, Ryan Salvatore, Jared Adams up to 13th. Good run for tonight's sponsor. Scott McDonald in the 44 car had some issues earlier on. He's up to 14th. Jason Ricker in 15th. Zane Farrell, Colby Burkholder going to round out the top 17. And Dale Glessner, Brent Roy still on the lead lap, but they're down on pit road still, and they may have just lost that lap. So looks like we might have ourselves 17 drivers here on the lead lap with a green-white checkered finish. Everybody on relatively similar tire strategies. Don't really have to worry about fuel. Everybody's got enough fuel in the tank to make it the distance and then some. So this is going to be a shootout. This is going to be wild, and it's going to be a wild way to cap off the season here for NEP Season 5.
Yeah, and what's also interesting is if all of those drivers that are in the pits right now do not get back out and they fall a second lap down, that pretty much seals the deal for Daddio. Messer's going to need a miracle coming from 8th here on this restart, but if Daddio has that cushion then where basically he can't fall worse than 17th spot, then why not just go all out for the victory here at this point? So he's going to be restarting in 4th. We're going to see what's going to happen here because John Peters is going to start to the inside of Evan Boyer this time on the restart, and Kenny Kibbe is going to be in row 2 along with Stephen Daddio. So, and there's Brandon Uhouse once again having a great 5th place run. How about Johnny Miller? Currently in 6th spot. We haven't talked much about him.
Solid run for that bright orange number 6 car. You can see Libby and Messer back there as well. And we're lined up 2 by 2. The lights are off in the iRacing pace car. We're getting ready to do battle once again. And we made mention there's at least 2 Mike Hopkins that drive real race cars up and down the East Coast. There's apparently 2 Zane Farrells as well. Could you imagine a second Zane Farrell?
I have met the second Zane Farrell.
Did you call him second Zane Farrell?
Well, I was at a dirt track in Texas, and Zane Farrell, that we all know and love, told me that he was there. And apparently Zane Farrell has not met Zane Farrell before. So I had the pleasure of being able to meet both of them, and they're both good guys. So maybe one day they'll get to meet each other. But right now we have a race to settle. Green-white checker coming right up.
We got a season and a championship to settle as well. And there you see it side by side, the pair of drivers from Maine, the 56 on the high side, the 09 down low. Bollier, Peters, Kibbe, Daddio, Uhouse take the green flag from the top 5. Popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go in the season.
And Evan Boyer clears John Peters right from the get-go. Stephen Daddio clinging to the outside here of Kenny Kibbe. Peters is right on the tail of Evan Boyer. Boyer better protect that lead because here comes John Peters. He's got a nose under the 56. We might have a thrilling race to the final stripe here as they come down for the white flag.
Hiya, Zeus Marimba. Things are heating up. White flag, white rag. 1 lap to go on the season. Bowler in the 56 car holding off Peters in the 09. That is a three-time series champion all over his back bumper. And oh, by the way, the season championship leader right in behind him. Daddio wants a better position, but he might have to settle for 3rd. He's going to follow in the tire tracks of John Peters and Evan Boley are going to cap off the season as the final Xfinity Car Series winner here in NEP. Great shot off the hood of the Hancock Lumber Machine. John Peters, 3-time series champion, going to finish in 2nd. And Steve Daddio, your new champion, gonna finish in third. What a race, what a season, what a way to cap things off. That was intense.
Yeah, how about a finish like that, coming down to the final checkered flag of the season? Boyer taking the win, John Peters, Daddio, Kibbe, and Brandon Newhouse getting his first top 5 of the season. We saw him just miss out on that top 5 finish last week, and he ends up sealing the deal this time with a 5th place finish.
There you can see Johnny Miller having a solid run, going to finish that 6th car in the 6th position. Ryan Libby in 7th. Ryan Messer did everything he could to try and get that championship. He's going to finish in 8th. Corey Casagrande 9th. Jeffrey Bradway, great run for the 13 car. He's going to round out the top 10. But man, oh man, the top 10, the top 12, the guy up in victory lane, he came home with the win here to close things off for the championship. And you've caught up with him down in victory lane, Aaron.
Yeah, how about that? How about that? Evan Boyer with the victory. It took all season long for you to get that win, but you sealed the deal there. But that was not easy, that final restart.
No, it certainly wasn't. Johnny made it tough on me at the end. Made it interesting. I had to throw a little block on the last lap on him, but good teamwork for 229 Autosports. I'm really, really happy to see a 1-2 finish, and congrats Steve Daddio. Glad to see him on the podium for his championship too. Yeah, just an all-around great race. I mean, for us, I thought I saved. I was conservative enough with the tires on those long runs, and then when it mattered at the end, I didn't know if I'd be able to hold them off. We certainly weren't the fastest, but we're able to make it enough laps and get ourselves a win. I'm really, really happy.
How's it feel also to be the final winner in the Xfinity car for the NEP series?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. You're gonna break my heart. You're gonna break my heart. I love racing these cars. I think we should continue with these cars. I hope somehow we can be convinced that they'll keep it. Yeah, I have a blast driving these cars. No better oval car on iRacing in my opinion. So I don't know why we'd want change, but and we've been putting on great races with this car all season long, really. You guys know better than anybody. You know, from where we started in this series to now, what an improvement. We've got a great group now, and yeah, everybody's really, for the most part, pretty respectful, and a lot of our races have been going green to checkered or 1 or 2 yellows. I mean, tonight we had a few at the end, knew that there would be with only 15 laps to go at the end there, and it gets tight off of the corners here. So yeah, I hope it's not the last one.
All right, and let's talk about who helps you get to and from the racetrack. I believe you actually cracked a tie for 6th in points as well, so pretty cool right there. But let us know who you'd like to thank.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have a string of bad races halfway through the season in the late model stock. That really killed us in the points. But I gotta thank my great family. I know my parents, they watch every week. Hi, Mom, and my wife and Millie. All their support for me, and not just the virtual racing, but in the real world as well. We're going to be getting going here soon. I've got my great sponsors: Hancock Lumber, Sunday Morning Farm, Brett Davis Real Estate, Nitro Designs, Atlantic AV, New York Construction, ABG Heating and Cooling, Laverier Auto Detailing, Guy and Barb, LB Cleaning Co., Bollier Construction, JPS, K&B Automotive. I got a lot of AMSOIL, Four Seasons Synthetic, MB Wiring, Winter Pit Products, who's also the great sponsor of 229 Autosports, and yeah, all my great teammates at 229 Autosports. We work really well together. We're always sharing notes with each other, strategy during races. It's great to be with a great team. Really, really happy with all of them. Yeah, and thank you to you guys as always. Appreciate it.
All right, we appreciate you, Evan. Evan Boyer, your final winner of the season. We'll see him at the final. We'll see him at the real racetrack here, like you said, in the real world very shortly. And Paul, who you got next?
Well, I'm going to take the guy that's doing burnouts right next to him. The champ is here. From the 09 car. Let's go to the 99 car. Steve Daddio and the Reverie Brewing Co. Number 99 Camaro. What's it feel like to be champion?
It's pretty incredible. it's just getting a race with the guys that have already done it, Johnny and Kibby, and I don't know. I felt like we were always fast in the past, and never really put a full and complete season together. And I don't know, man. It's just not a lot of words to describe it. It's pretty awesome.
And you can see it's one of those deals. The winner's going to do the winner of the race. Bowyer's going to do his burnouts, and we're just kind of back there outside of turn 4, having a little blast. We're taking a look at the slow motion footage there of the wind down lap, but put together a solid season, up in the top 5, top 10, multiple wins throughout the season. And you made mention you're one of 3 champions now here in the NEP series, and heading into almost familiar territory, but not quite as familiar as everything else. We hear that we're moving into some truck racing next season here in NEP. Are you excited for those?
Yeah, it honestly, as great as it is to win. And I was sitting in turn 4 just to grab my beer. By the way, we got to celebrate.
Oh,
I don't have a lot of time before bedtime. No, it's just being on here on Thursday night. I mean, I feel like the racing's improved so much, and it's just like good to hang out and talk to everybody and just kind of get away for an hour or two and race. And like I said, the competition's been I think every race this year has been fantastic. Obviously, it helps that I had a lot of success, but I think even regardless, I mean, kept it clean throughout the year. Good battles. Everybody was pretty respectful, and yeah, it's awesome. I'm looking forward to the trucks. I'll be super sad to see the Xfinity cars go. I agree with Evan. These things they're meant to turn left at high speeds, and they're a lot of fun to drive, and I think they're super competitive for everybody. But who knows? We'll see what the trucks are like, what the truck setups are like, and I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to put on a good show.
And that's what it's all about here on a Thursday nights. And got to give you an opportunity to thank anybody that makes it happen here for the virtual 99 car. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack?
I got to thank, friends, family, my mom, my dad. There's a lot of guys out there, or a lot of people out there on the socials, and I got texts coming in now. It's just cool. This is our little escape, and it's just cool to talk to them. And I look forward to this as much, with hanging out with Kibby, my teammates, 4-wide Kibby, Sal, and Austin, and it's just awesome. It's awesome to hang out on Thursday night. But you got to thank. Corey, he gets a lot of crap, I feel like, from everybody, as he should. He does, whatever he wants to. But, the only reason we're doing this is because he, sets all this stuff up. And I'm not sure who else is on the team. I think you got Zane and Brandon and Sal. They're behind the scenes. And, this doesn't go off without them either. So thanks to them. And you guys at Vidane. It's great just to sit down and watch the broadcast after this is all over. Really appreciate what you guys do and the effort you get and time and blood, sweat, and tears you pour into it. It's just cool to see. Can't forget my sponsors, Reverie Brewing. Awesome having them on the car. I do feel like the black Daddy-O's car was a little cursed, and I guess we changed it up. I know the colors are a little different. They're not used to something I'm running, but YRD. What can you say, Brandon? He just paints beautiful cars. They're always really good looking, always fast. Just sitting there. So, thank him. And Daddy-O's Auto Parts. Thanks, Dad. It's cool to finally. I think this is our first point championship since the karting days. I want to say 2004, so 20 years. So had a little time off from the points championships, but it's cool to be back at the top here. And anybody else watching out there on YouTube, Facebook, thanks for coming out. A lot of fun.
Absolutely. And finishing off like a champion, finishing on the podium here with a 3rd place run. Congratulations, champ. Go celebrate.
Thanks, Paul. You guys have a good night.
Absolutely. And there you can see a little bit of a door. Congratulations from John Peters in the 09 car. Taking a look at the old slow motion video. Aaron, you've caught up with the 3-time champ.
Yeah, let's wrap things up talking with a former champion. But John Peters, you gave it all you had there on that final restart for to try to get that 6th victory of the year.
Yeah, it was an awesome race. First, congrats to Evan on the win. Thinking of the Bowyer family. Happy to see him get one tonight. And congrats to Steve. He just killed us with top 5s all year. Super championship worthy season from him. Great guy. Really happy to see him get one. But yeah, it was a fun race. This track is one of my favorites. I treat it more like a long run strategy here. So I kind of needed more green flag runs to happen, and they did. We just got some cautions towards the end that didn't really fit my strategy, which was mostly just drive as hard as you can at the end. And I gave Evan a good run for it. The outside was the place to be on the late race restarts. You get so tied up on the bottom, you get really loose. So I thought I had a bit of a shot at him there, but I knew it was going to be tough to pass him. So I gave him a couple looks, and he made a good move to block the run and came home second. But I'll take it. Super fun race, and just happy to be doing it.
Yeah, and unofficially, I don't know if you'll be 4th or 5th in the final standings, but despite missing a couple races, it's got to be a pretty solid season for you, and I'm sure you're really looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, definitely. I really didn't anticipate missing the race at Atlanta. That was kind of a last-minute thing where I couldn't make it, so that kind of put the nail in my coffin. But nonetheless, I'm just happy to put a overall solid season together and win some races. And I just had too many weeks earlier in the year where stuff didn't go right. I had my computer freeze one week and got wrecked a couple times. So just not really what you need if you want to be chasing points, and kind of the opposite of Steve, who just killed us with top 3s and 5s. So I will take it. It's always fun just to do this throughout the winter, and hope everyone had a good time, running it and put it all together. I heard a lot of cheering and commotion downstairs in my house, so I assume this race was halfway entertaining, which is kind of the point. So it's always fun to do, and I appreciate you guys putting this on.
All right, before we call it a season, we'll give you one last chance to thank who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack.
I'll be quick. Thanks to everyone who watches. My mom, and my wife, and mother-in-law are downstairs watching. Thanks to you guys for putting this on. Thanks to NEP for putting the lead together, and Jared Adams for sponsoring tonight. Look forward to hopefully doing it again next year.
All right, that's your runner-up for tonight, John Peters and Paul. Let's wrap this thing up.
What a show. What a season, and what a way to cap off that season here with the Adams Photography 100 here at Dover, crowning ourselves a brand new champion in that 99 crew with Steve Daddio. And man, entertainment every single night here on Thursday nights. We made mention a time or two throughout the season, especially towards the latter part of it. When the iRacing stuff goes in the bag, it's kind of tough. It's a little bittersweet, but we know real racing is right around the corner, and you're going to be able to see a lot of these cats here in the NEP series out on real racetracks up and down the East Coast, up in Canada, all over the place. Aaron, you and I are going to be at real racetracks throughout the season here as well. Get out, support your local racetracks, support your local short track scenes, buy your T-shirts, buy your hats, and make sure that everybody knows that the real story is out on the short tracks. But man, oh man, we're going to cap things off here. Great season here with the NEP series, guys. Aaron, got to thank you so much for jumping on board and dealing with me each and every Thursday night here in the production booth. But got to thank everybody out there tuned in. We're taking over the internet. I'm telling you, slowly but surely, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, commenting throughout the shows all season long. It has been a blast. Got a lot of cool things coming up here with VidaneTV in the real world, in the sim world, all sorts of stuff. Be sure to follow and a like over on all the social media outlets. Just do a quick search for VidaneTV, and we will pop right up. That's going to do it. We're all set. We're all done. We're going to pack things up and put it out in the shed and call it good for the season. Congratulations to Evan Bollier coming out winning the final Xfinity race here in the NEP series, and congratulations to the 99 car of Steve Daddio becoming the 3rd champion ever here in the NEP iRacing series, presented by U-House Racing Designs. We'll catch you on the flip side here at VidaneTV, and when we do, we are going to be doing it live.
Thank you, everyone.